Today, I'm going to show you my process and how I designed and built this neon LED nightlight. This was going to be a gift for a newborn boy, Owen. My son's name is also Owen, so I definitely had an immediate connection to this project. The client initially wanted to incorporate some bug designs into this project somehow, but ultimately we agreed that the theme would be too specific. We wanted the design to grow with the baby over time. I chose a font and started working up a design with the letters laid out horizontally. But after some testing, I thought it was too plain. It was going to be a lamp, so I wanted to have it provide more coverage in the room by having the letters stacked vertically. A few years ago, I purchased a strip of neon LED rope, and I've been wanting to use it on a project. I thought it would be cool somehow to embed neon into some walnut, so I designed a channel that would accept the rope in the wood. This took a number of attempts to get the right fit. I chose the letter W as my first test piece to see how the neon rope worked with the wood, and if it could survive those sharp bends along the profile of the letter. I loved that the neon was super flexible and could be trimmed about every half inch, which was critical to create seamless sections of light. Looking good. It's on to cut the entire name out of a single piece. After it was done cutting on the X-carve, I wanted to do some light sanding to tone down the edges. Then it was ready for some oil. When designing the back panel, I wanted to have the neon wiring fit in guided channels for a cleaner look. I later noticed that it was a challenge to have all the wires fit in those channels, so I scrapped that idea and made a new one with just a hollow cavity. After the oil had dried, it's now time to install the neon and a whole lot of soldering. After looking at the back panel, there was a little section that I thought would be cool to add a little personalization using my laser engraver. I asked the client for any suggestions, and he requested to have a family crest design on it. Good choice. Now that the front and back panels were assembled, it was time to make the base. get any footage of it being cut on the CNC. It was just a circle with a cavity to hide some wires. I wanted to add a power connector to the base, so I drilled a hole from the side, just large enough for the end of the connector to poke out. I added a little round over to the base, and while I was doing that, I discovered the hole that I just made would get eaten up by the round over if I ran through it. So I improvised and stopped the round over about an inch from each side of the hole. Can't press too hard on the piece with the router, or else you get burn marks like you see here. A little sanding action, and we're back in business. In the base design, I made a little recess so I can cut a cover that would sit flush with the base. I made these little circular spacers to hold mounting screws, but I later scrapped that idea and just decided to screw directly from the cover to the base, without those spacers. Well, at least for 2 out of 3 of them. Here's a little lesson learned. I went all the way in installing this power connector without first testing it. Turned out to be a dud. So I spent a good amount of time removing all that hot glue so I can install a working connector. Yeah, I just gotta stop rushing these things. Now that I was on a home stretch, I began to think about how I was gonna ship this. Do I ship it as is with the base installed, or do I make some modifications to the design to allow shipping it in a flat pack style and have the client do a tiny bit of assembly on their end? Well, I chose the latter. I added these terminal connectors to each end of the wires from both the base and the letter display. Essentially, all that was needed for the client to do on his end was just plug these wires together and screw in just 5 screws. Super happy with how this lighting display turned out, and I'm even more happy that baby Owen seemed to be mesmerized by it. Now if you're new here, welcome. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Thanks again everyone. You're watching AG Does It.